talk to me.
Right. I could,
Oh, it may be expensive too.
It might be expensive too. It is expensive.
Like church that goes in the back.
Well, sometimes.
Yeah, way back when. Bangor Baptist has got its name for a reason.
So this is the town council meeting dated July 3rd, 2019, and if we could all rise to the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Same thing that's on that paper.
So do we have a roll call, please?
I'm here.
Debbie Cock here.
Marty doesn't be here.
Paul Edwards in here. Anybody else here?
And first item on our agenda is Mayor's Town Update. Just want to make everybody aware we got some news on Main Street realignment. The county sent back diagrams to us on what that's going to look like. I have it drawn out. I've contacted the owners. Everybody's willing to sign off on the easement required for it. And I got a call from UDOT, and UDOT is going to, they've got about $1 million in their budget that they're going to pay for realignment basically, and put in turn lanes at Main Street along with deceleration lanes. At this point, we're not getting an acceleration lane, but at least we'll have deceleration and 7 turn lanes on Main Street along with realignment, so it's a 90-degree angle. They'll go with that as far as the cattle guard, and then it'll get to the town, go past the cattle guard for that realignment. Anyway, they're going to, we'll be having a meeting in about a month, a project meeting they call it. That they said they'd call and invite me to, that we'll kick that off, and hopefully we'll see that start happening here. I don't know what their time frame is as far as when they actually start moving dirt, how long these wheels take to move, I don't know. They say they got the money and they're going to do a project meeting. That's all I know right now. 4th of July, we have tomorrow. We're going to have some fun for the kids. It's supposed to be a super slide that's like 20 feet tall with water on it, and some games for the kids which will involve water balloons and such. Food, we have music and line dancing. The line dance instructor is going to be there to teach everybody who wants to learn how. Fireworks, we won't be doing any fireworks at all. So we're going to, whatever someone might have, they'd be on their own. We're not going to be managing or dealing with that at all. So that's about all I have for the mayor's update. I want to switch over to our second item, which is open meetings training. This is put on by Michelle, but Michelle is not in sync with what's on the monitor up there, so I'm going to push the buttons hopefully, and my apologies to the YouTube watchers that last time I really messed this up when we watched the video and run the video on YouTube. It was okay in the meeting, but
Okay, I'm just gonna.
we're going to
So
try
what
to
we're
do better.
doing
in
is,
the
for
meeting.
those of you who are here that aren't here, that are just here to watch, it's required by state law that all commissioners and town council members receive a training each year on open meetings. And so this is just a video that is done by the state auditor's office on open trainings meeting. And so that's what we're doing here today.
And I kind of vote, I'm just gonna say it, just go out there on the limb, I'm gonna say it. David Church is a lot more fun. When you listen to David Church in these open meetings, he has a lot of humor that he throws in there. And I was watching one of David Church's videos trying to get this set up today, and he cracks me up. He says, somebody in the audience says, hey, is it okay to do this or that? And the guy says, absolutely. It's a terrible idea though. I just love the way he interjects that humor into it. This is a little drier, this is more like Ben's speed, you know, the county. Anyway, so we'll watch the video, and then after the video there's about 10 questions or so. The questions are meant to prompt, they're common questions that people ask, and it's meant to prompt discussion and question and answers. Sean's here and he'll shed some light on some of the issues that might pop up as well. So anyway, so I'll push the play button up here hopefully, and we might have some sound.
Welcome to the Office of the State Auditor's introductory video on the Open and Public Meetings Act. In this video, we are going to discuss the basic requirements for local government entities as specified in Utah's Open and Public Meetings Act. It is the responsibility of a governing body's presiding officer to ensure that the body's members receive annual training on the requirements of this law. By the end of this video, you should understand what the Utah Open and Public Meetings Act requires of local government entities and how to fulfill those requirements. The Open and Public Meetings Act recognizes that governing bodies exist to conduct the people's business and contains provisions designed to help ensure that an entity's actions and deliberations are conducted openly. In order to understand what the Open and Public Meetings Act requires, it is first important to understand what the Act considers an open meeting. An open and public meeting is when a majority of the governing body meets to discuss or act upon the business of the entity. Public meetings include workshops and executive sessions, but do not include chance or social meetings. A public hearing is the portion of an open meeting at which members of the public are provided with a reasonable opportunity to comment on the subject of the hearing. If necessary, the governing body may limit speaking time. Public hearings are required when an entity imposes or increases a tax or fee, or adopts a budget. An electronic meeting is a public meeting convened over the phone or by other electronic means. A governing body may convene an electronic meeting only if they have adopted a resolution, rule, or ordinance governing the use of electronic meetings. Under this Act, all meetings must be open to the public, unless the meeting is closed to discuss one of the following: the character, competence, or health of an individual, the deployment of security personnel, devices, or systems, collective bargaining issues, pending or reasonably imminent litigation, the purchase, sale, lease of real property, including any form of water right or shares, if an open discussion would prevent the entity from completing the transaction on the best possible terms, investigative proceedings regarding allegations of criminal misconduct, and finally, discussion of information that is required to be maintained as private or protected by the Utah Procurement Code, including trade secrets. A closed meeting may be held only upon the affirmative vote of 2/3 of the governing body members present at a public meeting. During a closed meeting, a governing body may not do any of the following: interview a person applying to fill an elected position, discuss filling a midterm vacancy or temporary absence, discuss the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of the person whose name was submitted for consideration to fill a midterm vacancy or temporary absence, or approve or pass any ordinance, resolution, rule, regulation, contract, or appointment. If a meeting is closed to discuss the character, competence, or health of an individual, or the deployment of security personnel, devices, or systems, then the person presiding shall sign a sworn, written statement affirming that the sole purpose for closing the meeting was to discuss one of these issues. In these cases, no recording or written minutes are required. However, if a closed meeting is held for any other reason, the closed portion of the meeting must be recorded, and detailed written minutes may be kept. Both the recording and written minutes of a closed meeting are considered protected records. The governing body may call an emergency meeting to discuss an urgent matter due to unforeseen circumstances. In order to hold an emergency meeting, 1. Best notice practical of the time, location, and topics to be considered must be given. 2. An attempt to contact all governing body members must be made. And 3. A majority of the governing body members must approve the meeting. The Open and Public Meetings Act imposes certain notice requirements on local government entities. Entities that hold regular meetings, which are scheduled in advance over the course of a year, need to give public notice at least once a year of their meeting schedule. This notice must include the date, time, and place of the meetings. For entities that do not hold regular meetings, the governing body must give at least 24 hours public notice specifying the date, time, and place. All meetings, whether regularly scheduled in advance over the course of a year or scheduled as needed, must provide no less than 24 hours notice of meeting agendas. The method of providing public notice for meetings and agendas depends upon whether a public hearing will be held during a portion of the meeting. It is important to distinguish between notice requirements for regular meetings and notice requirements for a meeting that will include a public hearing. If a public hearing is going to be held, the notice must be published in at least one issue of a newspaper. If a newspaper or general circulation is not available, then written notice should be posted in 3 public places within the entity's boundaries. For regular meetings, an entity is only required to notify a local media correspondent and does not need to pay for the notice if the newspaper chooses not to publish it. Additionally, for public hearings, notice generally must be given at least 7 days prior to the meeting. For both regular meetings and public hearings, written notice must be posted at the principal office of the governing body, or, if no such office exists, at the location where the meeting is to be held. Governing bodies are required to post notice of a public meeting on the Utah Public Notice website. By posting on the website and providing the email of the newspaper or local media correspondent, governing bodies meet the requirement to notify a newspaper or local media correspondent. However, all other notice requirements for a public hearing, such as publishing notices in a newspaper, still apply. Typically, posting on the Utah Public Notice website is done by a clerk or secretary. However, it is the responsibility of the governing body to ensure this requirement is being properly met. The Public Notice website is administered by Utah State Archives, who has prepared a training manual and quick guide for owners and posters, as well as training sessions that may be accessed on their website at archives.utah.gov. Public meeting agendas must include the following: topics to be considered, reasonably specified, and each topic listed under an agenda item on the meeting agenda. The governing body may not consider a topic in an open meeting that was not on the agenda. If a new topic that was not on the agenda is raised by the public during an open meeting, the governing body may discuss the topic. However, final action may not be taken on a new topic during that meeting. If your entity is increasing a fee or undergoing truth in taxation, please be aware that there are additional notice and posting requirements. For help in these areas, please carefully study applicable laws or consult with your legal advisor. In addition to notice requirements, the Open and Public Meetings Act imposes certain requirements on information that must be recorded during the meeting and shared afterward with the public. Meeting minutes and an audio recording need to be kept for all open meetings with limited exceptions. When a meeting, whether open or closed, is required to be recorded, the recording must be complete and unedited. It must include all portions of the meeting, from the commencement through the adjournment. Recordings of open meetings must be made available to the public for listening within 3 days of the meeting. Every entity needs to establish and implement procedures for the governing body's approval of the written minutes of each meeting. Pending minutes are written minutes of an open meeting that have been prepared in draft form and are subject to change before being approved by the governing body. Pending minutes must contain a clear indication, such as the draft or pending watermark, that the governing body has not yet approved the minutes, or that the minutes are subject to change until they have been approved. After holding an open meeting, an entity must make the pending meeting minutes available to the public within 30 days. Approved minutes are written minutes of an open meeting that have been approved by the governing body. Approved minutes of an open meeting are the official record of the meeting and must be made available to the public within 3 business days. Whoever is responsible for taking the minutes during meetings needs to be familiar with what the Utah Open and Public Meetings Act requires be contained in the minutes. When a governing body closes a meeting, the following must be publicly announced and entered into the minutes of the open meeting at which the closed meeting was approved. The reason or reasons for holding the closed meeting, the location where the closed meeting will be held, and the vote of each member of the governing body, either for or against the motion to go into closed session. The recording and any written minutes of the closed meeting need to include the date, time, and location of the meeting, the names of the governing body's members present and absent, and the names of all others present, except for where disclosure would infringe upon the confidentiality necessary to fulfill the original purpose of closing the meeting. Great job. You've now finished the Open and Public Meetings Act video. You're ready to move on to the video evaluation.
You couldn't understand it? We had a little bit of a problem with the speaker, didn't we? Well, let's just talk about it for a few minutes, and there's a couple of questions that are going to show up on there, and we'll just go over those.
A public hearing is the portion of an open meetings at which, I'm not sure these glasses are helping me, you're hurting me.
A public hearing is the portion of an open meeting at which members of the public are provided a reasonable opportunity to comment.
True.
Confirm, yes.
Everyone's saying true.
Yeah.
Click true. Okay. An audio recording is not required for an open meeting. A governing body must ensure that notice of a public hearing is published in the newspaper, even if the newspaper requires the entity to pay for the publication.
And church hats.
Yes, that's true. A public hearing has to be posted in the newspaper, but just your regular meeting agendas for a regular meeting just needs to be posted on.
But, well, let's see, right there, I just want to point out that on some of those, you don't have to pay on some of those. People get confused on when you have to actually have it, you just have to give a notice to the newspaper.
Right.
And they can choose whether to publish or not. If there's a newspaper around.
Important.
A governing body may take formal action in a closed meeting. Which of the following is an example of when a public hearing is required? A, adopting a budget, B, imposing a tax, C, increasing a fee, D, all of the above.
All the above.
You guys are really smart. Yay! So during the video, any of you on the commission or on the council, did you have any other questions on what was talked about?
No, ma'am.
Did you have anything, Sean, that you wanted to add?
No. I am fascinated by.
How detailed that was.
Very good.
If you ever do have any questions about open meetings, what the law states, you can always find that in Utah code. And what is the code?
I don't know the code section, about 60.
I have it here. Let me get it.
60 grandma, so.
Well, I thought I had it here. It is Chapter 4, Open Public Meetings Act. So you can either print that out, read it on your computer, it's really good, fun reading. Or you can come in here, I can get you a copy, or I might be able to help you answer the questions as well, so.
Okay, the things that she left out, that you have left out, because she went and she's already scolded me on a couple of things. One of them is we overdue the vote. And there's a few things that we don't have to vote on. Public comments, for example. We don't have to open public comments or close public comments and do a vote on it. If we're doing a public hearing, we don't have to vote to open a public hearing or to close a public hearing. As chairman, you can just say it's a public hearing, public comment.
But in order to take the vote, or to vote something from a public hearing, then you obviously take a vote. But
Right, so, but
if you
just
take
to
action
open
on
and
what the
close.
hearing was based on, then you would take a vote.
Right, so, is there any questions on that from anybody?
But we don't have to open the hearing anymore.
Right.
You do open
You
it, but
open
it's
it,
the
but
chair
it's
or
the
the mayor.
chairperson that opens the vote.
And
or opens
closes.
the
And close.
hearing.
And we do it both without a vote.
Not a motion, not a vote.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Anyway. All right, that's the big ones, I think. Is there anything we missed, Sean, that you want to point out, or Michelle, anything else you can think of I missed?
I did hand out to, also to the commissioners and to the council, just for the public's awareness, that we do have a Town of Apple Valley Public Meetings policy. I've handed that out as well to each of them, and if you would like a copy of that, I do have a couple of extras up here, and I can get you a copy if you'd like to see that as well.
Is there any highlights in there you'd like to point out that's different from some of the other?
No, I mean, this is, the Utah law is basically,
Is what
this
that
is
is.
just more details about
Okay.
our meetings, when you need to submit agenda items. So if you have something as a public resident that you would like to have on the agenda, or you want to come and appear before the town council, it just talks about the procedures for that and how you can do that.
So anybody that's signed up on the website for public notices, you'll notice that you got the agenda for next week's Wednesday meeting. That's going to be our new standard, where we're going to publish that 1 week out ahead of that. My deadline is really by Wednesday night, meeting night, that I have the agenda ready, so Thursday when she comes to work, she can do the public noticing. Since tomorrow's a holiday, that came today, a day early for me, but, so that's why it came out today, 1 week ahead of the meeting, so that gives everyone time, 1 week to, ahead of the meeting, you can go on our website, you can see the packet that we're gonna be looking at 1 week ahead of time, gives you plenty of time to look at it, comment on it, look it up whatever you want. Our requirement's only 24 hours, but we're pushing the envelope going 1 week out. That gives everyone time to look up what we're doing, why we're doing it, and any details, you know, anything that you want to about it. That way it's available 1 week out. So that's our new town standard. Item number 3, we're all done with that. Appointment of Ben Billingsley as deputy clerk. Michelle, just working here, I'm just shocked at this, but it's not a vacation enough for her. She wants to actually leave town with the family for some reason. I just thought it was like a party around here, but.
Whose family?
So, She's to leave town, so because of that, we need to have Ben, a deputy clerk, for taking care of, the meetings while in her absence, which is, only gonna be for next week, I think, right, or next meeting, basically. But anyway, we need to have them cross-trained anyway, so if something happened to Michelle, we were able to still carry on, so. Have a motion?
Make a motion, we accept resolution number R-2019-12, appointing Ben Billingsley as town deputy clerk.
Second.
Vote?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. This was Ben's first agenda, by the way, and you'll notice on the agenda that item 4 has the resolution, and it really belongs to item 3, so. Anyway,
You just wait till next week.
That's what this training ground was, this agenda, so.
There's a few little glitches on the agenda, but that's okay, part of the learning process.
Really mess it up next week.
Way to go, Ben.
But we have our cell number, we can call her.
I won't have service.
Full time. Item number 4, we're gonna go ahead and do that, swearing in, think we should,
We'll probably do it after.
Do it after,
Yeah.
okay, and then, so item 4, consent calendar for May of 2019. Any questions on it from anybody?
Any questions? I make a motion, we accept the consent calendar for May 2019, not resolution 2019-12.
Second.
Vote?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. And minutes, item number 5, we got minutes for May 1st, June 12th, May 15th. Was everybody present at all these meetings? Anybody miss one of these?
Nope.
Mike, did you miss any of those?
Nope, everybody.
Right, because we break that out, and if you weren't here, we approve part of that. So,
Michelle, can we do them all together, or do they have to be separate?
As long as nobody has an issue with any of them, we can do it together.
Any issues?
If there's issues, you have to break them out.
I move we approve the minutes of May 1, 2019, June 12, 2019, and May 15, 2019.
Second.
vote?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. When you look at these, the finished version of the minutes, I'll just give you a quick tip, is if you go on the website when these are published, you can click on these minutes, and there's a timestamp on each agenda item. That timestamp tells you where in the YouTube video you can find when that action happened. So, anyway, that's a quick tip on how you can navigate around so you can find your way. And reports and recommendations, we're going to table that. Do you have any, and public comments, we're going to table that as well.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
And vote?
Aye.
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 Meeting adjourned.